Okay, so we're going to go ahead and walk through the report, this blueprint, the high ticket pipeline. This is actually what you're going to be getting in your email here shortly. So we're going to go ahead and walk through this really quickly. So the first thing you need to understand about the sales pipeline mastery is that mastering a sales pipeline in your business is critical to saving time and maximizing all the contacts you have with prospects. In addition to the fact that having an automated system in place to eliminate wasted time is critical to keep track of potential clients and their needs. In addition to the fact that moving prospects through a pipeline will be difficult without knowing how to sell something without being salesy. So, one of the things about the idea behind a pipeline is, first of all, you have to have a good source of leads. So it all begins with the quality of the leads or the quality of your traffic source that comes into your pipeline. If you have a really bad source, you're going to have really bad results. But once you get these, or get a good source for leads, getting them in the pipeline and allowing them to go through your pipeline smoothly and with a lot of organization and with a lot of accuracy is critical. And we're going to walk through how to actually do that with this high ticket sales pipeline. And we're going to talk about it in the stages of this pipeline. Well, the first and foremost is that you get a lead into your pipeline. Now, a lead in can come from social media, from paid advertising, from networking you may be doing at meetings and other contacts that you have, any type of email marketing, or even a referral. Now, whatever that process is, getting a lead in should be fairly automated. In other words, unless you're meeting someone at a networking meeting, everything else, all these other elements of getting leads in to your pipeline should be an automated process. Now, secondly, in a pipeline, you want to make contact. Now, the first contact can be any number of different methods. So it could be done through an email or a text or a phone call. The bottom line is you must be able to gather some info on that particular prospect for defining their needs. Sometimes you can have that done through surveys and other things, but we'll get into that. But the bottom line is you need to make contact. And if it's through email, text, or phone call, you have to make contact once a lead comes in. So the next thing you want to do in your pipeline, in the next stage of your pipeline, is you need to define the needs. Now, this is where the prospect needs should be established. You should be able to understand before you actually get on a strategy call with this individual. You should be able to understand what their needs are before the first contact, and after the first contact rather. And you must be able to do this before the strategy session or your presentation, whatever conversion event you use. So then after you get your needs defined and you're able to reach out, then you have your strategy session or your presentation. Now, this should be done via video conference, or it could be done through a live meeting, or it could be a phone call, which is probably the least desirable out of the three. And this strategy session or presentation call, or whatever you call your conversion event, should last between 30 and 60 minutes. Anything less than 30 minutes is probably going to be difficult for you to get them to a point where you understand exactly if they need your program and if you can help them. And usually anything over 60 minutes can get drawn out. It really depends on your program and how you develop it and all the information that goes into it. But at the end of the day, you want to have either a Zoom or Skype meeting, or you want to have a live meeting face to face, or you want to be able to do a phone call, which Again, a lot of people do phone calls, and I think you just lose a lot of the communication elements when you do phone calls, because you're unable to see body language and the other things that can give you a sense of where your prospect may be. Okay, the next thing is that you want to deliver a proposal. Now, if you're in that strategy session, you do a presentation, you get to the end and they say, okay, I want to sign up. Then the proposal is really kind of a formality, but you definitely want to be able to deliver something that outlines what you are going to be giving this particular client or customer for the investment that they're going to make into your program. So you want to go into a proposal stage in your pipeline after the presentation or the strategy session. Then you want to get into negotiations. Sometimes if the deal isn't done after the proposal, sometimes you have to negotiate what you're going to do. You may have to trim something off your program to help someone afford it a little better. Maybe you don't do that at all. But either way, there can be negotiations in terms of, okay, are you going to do a payment plan with them, or are they going to have to pay the entire investment up front? Those types of things you need to be negotiated to help this particular prospect or this potential client get into your program. At the end of the day, you're trying to help people in whatever it is you do. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to be a little bit flexible or have some options for your client to be able to participate in your program and be able to benefit greatly if that is something that you deem necessary for your prospect to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And then next, you want to have follow-up. So if you get through the negotiation stage and they haven't signed on a dotted line, or they haven't done the credit card or however they're paying you, because at the end of the day, until you have a financial transaction, the deal isn't done. So they may agree verbally, they may agree through an email or text, they may agree on the strategy session, but the bottom line is, until you have a transaction that's financial, the deal isn't done. So after the negotiations, after you've gotten them to agree that they can benefit from your program, then it's just a matter of the money being in the way. And if you negotiate those things and they still haven't committed, then you want to follow up. Now, during the follow-up, make sure the client has all their questions answered, and you need to be able to close them. And not a hard close and kind of sales tactic, but you need to go ahead and help them commit to your program. If your program is going to truly fix a problem in their life, you want to be able to do that through helping them and getting them in your program. And sometimes it's going to be just a matter of asking them to go ahead and get started, because you can help them. Okay, so after the follow-up phase or stage, then you want to get into the proposal being accepted. Once that proposal is accepted, that's kind of where everything hinges, right? And this can be on the call that you originally had. Like I said, it can be an email, it can be a text message from the client, what have you. They can accept it, but we're still waiting on money, right? And we're still waiting on a transaction. Now, you don't do what you do in your business just for money. And if you do, you probably need to find something else to do, because if you do what you do just for money, that's going to always create problems for you in the long run, because you'll wind up wasting time, because you need to do something you love doing, and you should, you should be able to get paid for what you do, yes, but the fact is you should love what you're doing first. So the final stage will be getting the deal closed. Now, of course, in this stage, this is where you collect the money, you get them in your onboarding schedule so you can get them started in your program right away. And these are the basic stages of a high ticket sales pipeline that will allow you to have success. Now, the challenge is that you need to be able to organize and navigate every single prospect that comes into your world through this process. Now, some of these stages will get skipped with certain clients, with certain situations, and you should be able to take them from, let's say, lead in all the way to strategy session, because the lead came in, they contacted you, say via phone, you talked to them on the phone, you set up a strategy session. Now, you would have already had the contact made, you would have had your needs defined, have their needs defined, and you would go right into a presentation. So they typically, or could rather, theoretically skip over contact made and needs defined into the strategy session stage. So the stages are designed to be the way you take someone through the process of getting in your program, and being able to organize these and have these all in virtually automated is a really key and really critical to a high ticket sales pipeline. Now, let's now go through, how the flow through the pipeline works. So an effective pipeline can make the difference between a profitable business and a struggling business. There's no doubt about that. So what you want to do is implement the high ticket sales pipeline blueprint so that you can see these high level results. Most people don't have a pipeline when they're working with their clients one-on-one. So here's the thing. How does this work with flowing through a pipeline? This is kind of an illustration that we'll go through. And the first part of the flow is that you must be able to automate a large portion of the process in order to maximize profits and save time. It is critical that you automate as much of this process as possible. Otherwise, you will spend a lot of time trying to get clients through your pipeline, and you just will waste a lot of time. And people that could have been in your program 2 weeks ago, you're still trying to contact them to get a strategy session set up, because most of what you have set up isn't automated. So the next portion of the flow is it must be the right target market niche for your offer in order to see results. As I mentioned earlier when we first started this, there is absolutely a correlation between the quality of your leads in terms of your source versus how you get leads into your pipeline and the quality that comes out of it. So you want to make sure you have the right target market niche. Now, in addition to that, you must remain consistent. You must remain consistent to keep the flow of new leads coming into the pipeline. If you get inconsistent and you do something, but you do it once a week or once a month, it's going to be very difficult to develop any kind of momentum. So what does all that mean? Well, at the end of the day, the end result is a happy client and a profitable business that gives you the freedom to enjoy your life and still make a difference. And isn't that what we really want? We want to be able to make a difference in what we do in people's lives and still have a life of our own. Well, with that, that's pretty much the high ticket mastery of a high ticket pipeline mastery. So let's kind of look really quickly at our lead conversion system that is part of the pipeline process, as part of our lead conversion system that we have. So here's the overall plan that we have, and as you see here on the screen, there's a pipeline mastery, which is what we're talking about today, and it's one part of our lead conversion system, our Speckle lead conversion system. And as you can see, there are 8 other steps in converting leads and how to go about doing that to take your business from overwhelm to autopilot. Now, get access to a free web class training that walks you through the entire system that takes you from overwhelm to autopilot. And what you can do is go to speckle.com/LCS for lead conversion system, And that's speckle.com/LCS for the Speckle Lead Conversion System web class. Now, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And I look forward to seeing you in the web class to go through how to take a customer from being an opt-in all the way to your strategy session win. And that's going to do it for today. Go ahead and take a quick second. There should be a button on this page actually. If not, you can always go to speckle.com/LCS to get access to the free web class training on the Speckle Lead Conversion System. Look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care.